I am Terry and welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Catholic First Communion Bible, and this one is published by Catholic Bible Press, a division of Thomas Nelson Publishers, and I do not see anything on the box telling me what year this one was, but here's the ISBN for those interested. And here's what the box features. The New American Bible with Revised New Testament and Revised Psalms. Deluxe gift edition featuring beautiful First Communion presentation section. Lovely high quality binding. Imprimaturs by Patrick Cardinal O'Boyle, D.D. James Cardinal Hickey, S.T.D. J.C.D. and Most Reverend Daniel E. Purchase. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. I may have screwed it up. But here, I'll show the names. If you pause it and maybe zoom in or something, you maybe will see it better. I'll try and zoom in post-production, make it clearer. Alright, so it's got a white cover. Looks like someone did get a little bit of pen ink on the cover. I don't know if you can see it, but right here there's a little bit of blue ink on the cover. On the spine it says Holy Bible, New American Bible, Catholic Bible Press, and then the item number. I was trying to use natural lighting today. Then the front, it says Holy Bible, and it has this really neat looking cross. The back cover is blank. Let's put the box out of the way. There's nothing on the bottom of the box except the price sticker from St. Vincent De Paul, where I bought it today, and I paid 75 cents for it. There is a inscription on the first cardstock page, which has a design on it. It's got grapes and communion chalice. Because there's an inscription, I'm not going to show it because it's got somebody's signature on it, and I don't want to put their signature on the internet. But the presentation pages are blank. So hopefully when I get done doing this review, I'm taking it to my parish for them to give it to a kid for their First Communion. So I'll give them suggestions on how to remove that inscription when I go. The first Holy Communion received, it's got the church, the city, the state, the date, and a line for the priest to sign, or for them to put the priest's name. That's cool. And then there is the passage from the New Testament. It looks like they mixed together parts of the passages on the Lord's Supper from the New Testament, from Matthew, Mark, John, and 1 Corinthians chapter 11. So that's kind of neat. And then the paper is kind of a yellow color. So let's see if we can find out what year this is. Copyright 1987, but there is a October 10th, 1991, Nihil Obstat and Imprimatur. Looking to see if there's any other copyright information that would be helpful. It's printed in the United States. It's a 10th printing from 1997. Let's see what the title page says. I'll read the title page real quick. The New American Bible, translated from the original languages with critical use of all the ancient sources. And the Revised New Testament, authorized by the Board of Trustees of the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine and approved by the Administrative Committee Board of the National Conference of Catholic Bishops and the United States Catholic Conference. Then it has the NAB logo, and it says Catholic Bible Press, a division of Thomas Nelson Publishers, Nashville, Atlanta, London, and Vancouver. And then there's a small symbol that I can't read. So, yeah, that's the title page. The yellow paper is probably because this is like some kind of paper that aged to be yellow a little bit. Either that or it came this way. Being that I never saw one of these Bibles back in 1997, I don't know. There's a slight tear here, but that tear looks like it could be from when they printed it, because it doesn't look like it's the kind of tear that you would get from use. Table of contents says Introduction to the Catholic Study Edition, the purpose of the Bible and history, how the Bible came about, how to study the Bible, Old Testament text, New Testament text, list of popes, the English versions of the Bible, literary forms of the Bible, biblical themes, suggested readings for liturgical year, and Sunday readings of Holy Scripture. And then it tells you on the next page who wrote all those different sections. And it tells you who wrote the articles, like the purpose of the Bible and stuff. Let's get into the Bible text itself and have a look at that. It's like I gotta turn a few more pages. Oh, here's what the articles look like. Here, I'll show you what the how to study the Bible one looks like. I will do an overhead in a few minutes and go back through some of this so you can see it better. I just want to... Okay, here's the actual title page right before you get to the Old Testament. So here's that title page. And it says the same thing as the previous title page. And it has the same nihil abstats and copyright dates. I don't see anything different. There is a letter from the Vatican. I've never seen that in a Bible before. It gives the list of who was involved in the translation. That's always good to know. A list of who the editors and revisers were. And then a table of contents of the actual biblical text. So here's what that looks like. Again, I will be doing more of an overhead in a few minutes when I switch to an overhead position for the camera. The Old Testament and New Testament each have a preface, and then the books have prefaces too that end with a what do you call it now? I'm trying to think. A chapter breakdown, book breakdown, an overview. It's got cross references, which in the overhead I'll be able to show better. So it's got cross references, it's got footnotes, chapter numbers are in bold, subject headings for when there is a subject heading is in bold. Like here it says, section 1, the primeval history, chapter 1, first story of creation, and that's in bold. And then at verse 5 of chapter 2, it says second story of creation, and that's in bold, so you know that's not part of the biblical text. On the side of the page, there's these black bars with the name of the book you're in. And then there's telling you what story you're in. So let's see, I don't think this is red letter. Let's quickly look and see about that. And then I'll flip to the overhead and we can get to, let's see. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5 if I can, because usually that's a good spot to know if it's, I didn't see anything on the box saying red letter, but sometimes they don't always indicate it on the box. No, it is black letter. I prefer black letter, but this isn't going to be my Bible. This is going to somebody who needs it, because after I make this video, I'm taking it to the parish to see if somebody can use it for First Communion. Yeah, it's just really interesting. It's basically a study Bible, like one of my other NABs. There is articles in the back, which I will go over all that in the overhead. So here's what those end pages in the front look like. This is the ones in the back. It's got the Eucharist up here with the host and the chalice. And then down here it's got grapes and what looks like wheat. I think that's wheat. Some kind of grain. And then there's a bluish green bar and there's this space. So I guess after, there's a section of prayers on these cardstock pages, because you got the sign of the cross, the Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory Be, Act of Faith, Act of Hope, Act of Love, Apostles' Creed. Yeah, let's see, is there anything else? Act of Sorrow and Prayer to Your Guardian Angel. So that's cool. All right, let's go to overhead and let's check out this Bible and see what all there is. We'll take a deeper look at the box too. So I will see you in just a minute. All right, now we can take a deeper look at it. Here we go. Here's what the front cover of the box looks like. Here's a closer look at what it says there. There's a little bit of glare on the box from my light. Let me see if I can get the glare over into the white. Maybe that'll help. I'll try doing it this way. I'll try and edit the glare out if I can. And then it says this here on the end. If you want to pause it and read that. Here's that Eucharist symbol. Here's the guarantee if you want to pause and read what that says. Here's the ISBN and example of the text. And that's all there is. The bottom just is blank. All right, let's take a little look at this. As you can see, there's somebody's somehow gotten some writing on here. I'll try to figure out a way to fix that. See, it says New American Bible. It's got these gray lines, no hubs. Catholic Bible Press, and then the item number. I have a feeling there is a newer, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. I have a feeling there is a newer edition of this by Catholic Bible Press that is in either the NAB still or in the NRSV. I will try and find links to newer editions of this at Amazon or at Christian Book. I'll see what I can find. All right, so It says Holy Bible, and it's got this interesting looking cross. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see with the glare, but that's the cross. Now let's open it up, and I'm going to open it up in a way that you don't see that inscription because I'm going to keep that private. All right. It says, on the occasion of First Holy Communion, this Holy Bible is presented to you, and then you put the person's name, a place to paste their photo. My First Holy Communion was received at the church, the city, state, the date, and who the priest was. Is there anything after that? Oh, yeah, here's that Lord's Supper passage from the Bible. And then the title page. I'll bring the title page up. I like that NAB logo. I think that looks really nice. And for people that want to see the imprimatur and nihil obstat, there's quite a bit of it there. But I'll try and make it as readable as I can in post-production. And then here's all the copyright information. And here's the first table of contents. This is a more of an overview table of contents because it lists the articles that are in here, but it also lists the page numbers for the biblical text. And after the biblical text, as you can see, there are some additional study helps. And then here's information on the Catholic Study Edition that helps you to use the footnotes and other stuff and understand the relationship of the textual notes and cross-references and stuff and how it relates to the biblical text. Here's what the first article looks like. It's called The Purpose of the Bible. It has an introduction. It talks about inspiration, revelation in the Bible, unity of the Bible, completeness of the Bible, and sacramentality of the Bible. The truth of the Bible, the canon of the Bible, translations of the Bible, and interpreting the Bible. So all the articles have a similar layout, but not the same subheadings. Here's the Bible in history, how the Bible came about, and then we get the actual title page for the Bible. Well, I shouldn't say actual title page, but it's the same title page, just repeated again. Oh, another thing that the box mentioned is it's silver along here, but the silver on here is not like the way they do silver now, so it looks like this silver might have faded over time. And from the way the binding and stuff is, it looks like this Bible may have only been used a little bit. I can't, even though they said it was what did they call the binding? Lovely, high quality binding. I'm thinking it's glued, but let's see. If someone knows more about binding than I do, please comment below what you think, because I mean, I can kind of see the signatures, but at the same time, it looks like there's glue along here. Now, would this glue along here be for holding the headband in, or is it glue that's holding the signatures together? So if someone knows more about binding than I do, please comment. And again, here's that same information from before. And here's that letter from the Vatican, which is dated September 18th, 1970. And then here's the people who were involved in doing the Bible and the revision. And here's the table of contents of the books of the Bible. And it has things separated by the usual categories used in Christian Bibles. Although it's interesting they didn't put Joshua, Judges, and Ruth in the historical books, but it put them between the Pentateuch and the historical books. I've never seen that before, or at least not noticed it before. So that's interesting. And then each Testament has stuff before it. This has the books of the Old and New Testament, preface to the Old Testament, and books of the Old Testament and their abbreviations. And then for the New Testament, you got preface to the first edition, preface to the revised edition, and the books of the New Testament and their abbreviations. And then, of course, there's also articles after the book of Revelation. We got a preface to the Old Testament, the abbreviations, an article on the Pentateuch, or an introduction to the Pentateuch, and then an introduction to the book of Genesis, which ends with this outline. So like if you're wanting to look for a particular part of the book of Genesis, you can go here and it'll tell you where to go. And then it's got subheadings here like 1, the primeval history, chapter 1, first story of creation. Then we come to chapter 2 and it says chapter 2. And then after this part, which is really part of the first creation story, is here. And then starting with verse, I think it's verse 5. Wait, is it verse 5? Verse 5. So starting with verse 5, we get the second story of creation. Here's the footnotes over here. They have them in smaller font to help indicate they're not part of the biblical text. And here are your cross references. So for verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1, you got all of these cross references. Then for verse 2, you got this cross reference to Jeremiah 4:23. So that introduction stuff in the beginning, it's good to read because it'll explain to you how to use these helps. So that's how that is. Let's see how the poetry section is laid out. Here we are in Job, and it's got a pretty decent poetic setting. It's got still has footnotes and cross references. It's got the subheadings where it tells you who's talking. So let's go to the Psalms. Here we go. We're at Psalm 11 here. And we're here, Psalm 13. So yeah, it's got like a title for it. And then it's got footnotes and cross references. And it's what I really like is the way they tell you what book of the Bible it is. They tell it to you like this here, but they also tell it to you up here. And it tells you which chapters you're in. So that's cool that they have two different places to tell you what book you're in. So like if you're flipping really fast, this black stands out and you know to look there for that. I do like this is a decent thickness for this Bible. I have a feeling newer ones are probably thin lines. Now let's go to the New Testament. So let's go to the beginning of the New Testament. Okay, so we have the preface to the New Testament and all that, like with the Old Testament. And then we have an introduction to the Gospels, an introduction to Matthew, and the introduction to Matthew is quite extensive compared to the Genesis one. Here's the outline down here, which means we're at the end of that introduction. Oh, here's the end of that introduction. And they call the first section the infancy narrative. Chapter 1, the genealogy of Jesus. And then you got all these footnotes and cross references in the right-hand column. I would say would be a good Bible, definitely a good Bible for someone starting out with the Bible. But hopefully they're also getting help from the church in understanding the Bible too. Here's the list of popes it talked about. Let's see how far it goes. John Paul II. So it's not very current. Like I said, I'll find more recent ones to put links for people. But I still think a kid could use this and get a start with enjoying the Bible and digging into it and learning. My first Bible was a Bible from the early mid-50s. Mine was a mid-50s text of the RSV. It's got, ooh, that's cool. It's got lined notebook paper in here. That's cool. You don't often see that in a gift Bible, but there's lined notebook paper. There's a concordance. Oh no, that's not a concordance. It's readings for major feasts. Okay. Wow, you don't really see that in gift Bibles. That's cool. There's like 4 or 5 pages of notebook paper. Then we have these prayers and the creed. That's cool. And then these 2 prayers here, and then cardstock, and then we're at the end. And no ISBN on the back like on a modern Thomas Nelson type Bible. And this is pre-comfort print. So that is really interesting. I'm glad I got this at St. Vincent De Paul Society. Hopefully some kid will be blessed by this. Hopefully God can help this to help some kid to grow in a relationship with God. Like I did when I got my first Bible when I went through communion when I was a Methodist. So hopefully this will help some kid. I think it's a really nice Bible for being a gift Bible, and for it to come with a gift box, and there's no ribbon marker, but that's fine. That's, someone could probably gift them bookmarks, but yeah. So I'm taking this with me to church on Sunday to give to the church and see what they think about it. See if it's makes their standards for being a gift to someone. I'll try and fix this cover and do something about that inscription in the front. There's a few ways I can fix that. So it's a 1997 Bible. That's interesting. And it was printed in the United States of America. So that's really cool. It's a Bible made in America. So that's always a good thing. All right, I will see you in the next video, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week ahead. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And like I said, if you know anything more about book binding and stuff than I do, please comment as to whether or not you think this is a glued binding or a sewn binding. Because I am having a hard time with it. Because I can see the individual signatures, but yet I see this line of glue along here, which is confusing me. And it looks like there might be an Oxford Hollow in there, but I can't be certain. Because it looks like there's a cardboard thing in here pushing this way and holding this part stiff. Because I think that's what an Oxford Hollow does. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Somebody who knows more about bookbinding, please comment, because I don't know. I need to learn more. And the way these edges are, I don't know if that's the way it came, because they're not rounded like a modern edition that you would find. They're it's kind of flat here. It's hard to show it on video, but it's kind of flat here, not rounded. Not like the cover of the Bible. See how the cover of the Bible is rounded? But here it's I don't want to say beveled, because I think that might be the wrong word, but it's flat. It's not square like you would expect like on a hardcover, but it's got this slant to it, both here and here. I should have brought out my tape measure. It's over an inch thick. Like, I would say almost an inch and a half thick. It's about as thick as, I'd say it's slightly thicker than a Skylar Quintel, the current ones, the 28 GSM ones. It's thicker than that. I'm trying to think of another Bible I have that would be comparable. I'm trying to blank as to a Bible to use to compare it to. But anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next video.